big, enormously huge delusion, and why women comply with it. This is going to be based on the interview, and I will show you exactly in order for you to Google it if you didn't watch it yet, and some of you interested in relationships dynamic probably did already. A new pattern of sacred relationships emerges. Vylana, Alana, Bill, Dr. Mark Gaffney. This is on the channel of Aubrey Marcus and his podcast. And I will show you just show it on my screen from my phone, so you know what to find. You can have a stop to find it exactly. And now let's get to it. So for you that are first time on my channel, mostly you will find things in Polish. I don't speak so often in English language, so I apologize straight away if something is not correct. Please connect to the content, and I will do my best here. I have to comment on that because I am also a writer, and I also am very much interested in studying relationships, and probably most of all of you who actually from you didn't have an accident with triangle, being with someone who was in a relationship with other people, or sensing other partners around your partner. How did you go about it? How did you process it? How did you think about it? It all depends on how much we know who we really are, what are our needs, and what phase of life we are. So I'm going to comment on that, and this is not something I do very often. I do not comment on people, basically about the behaviors and psychology behind that and the process that is taking you to a new experience. And first of all, for anyone who's like looking for a sensation that I'm going to say something very, very negative here about the people, I want you to know that I'm going to do that with as much as possible deep respect for all the sides of the story, pointing out things that I've also along the years pointed out within myself. I went through some of the things in the feeling. There is a different theater, different scenery, different actors, but we always look for certain specific patterns in the relationships. And because I'm actually writing the new series more about relationship than paranormal aspect and reincarnation and dreams, this is something that is actually really touching me from the personal point of view and from the point of view of those women I worked with so far and listened to their stories. And we all as a community, we figured this all out. What does it really mean to have a good relationship? How much should it be a sacrifice, compromise, to what degree? What is it about this monogamy? So one thing for sure, yes, there is something wrong also with monogamy. And I would like to also say that straight away, that most of the people are not meant for long-term relationships. Basically, from different reasons, they don't know who they are, they're exploring. There is the saying that none of the guys are meant for a monogamous relationship. Maybe later in another phase of their life, who knows, but it's not really forever. So there is something wrong with how society pushed us into monogamous relationships, that's for sure. This is how we end up with betrayals, with lies, and when the partner, someone who's supposed to be your best friend, ends up being your worst enemy. This is how it turns very often. And a lot of those people still stay in those relationships, try to figure that out. But as some tough coaches say, fix your makeup, don't fix your relationship. There is something also truth in that. But okay, let's get to that big illusion and why women comply with it, and with the deep understanding what's really going on here. I also look at the comments under the video, and they're absolutely not positive about the author of this podcast. And I respect the man for bringing a lot of value, a lot of deep thinking into the world. And let's start with him. So he had this vision. Visions are very strong. And when we hear other entities, also that gives a vibe of something profound is happening to us. And I'm saying this not from the studies, I'm saying this from my personal experiences and working with people. And just so you know, for those of you who are listening to me for the first very time, I never wanted to follow spiritual growth, any path of self-evolution, evolving, paranormal things. This is something I was born with. Things were happening to me for a very, very long time. I tried to deny it and work in a huge company to just not have dreams, not have visions, don't talk to suspicious entities on the other side, don't hear voices, and so on. But at the same time, later on in my life, I tried to put a peace with them and try to understand what is really going on. So after years of studying and writing books about it, and later on also understanding more about it and working with people, I see that not all of the beings from the visions are highly evolved. So you gotta be very, very careful who's talking to you, what vision, because just because the entity is paranormal or immortal, it doesn't mean it has good intention. Some of them, they like to feed from your emotions. And here, if we have something like a strong voice that is telling you what to do, also please remember that most of the demons that are promising you deals, good deals, and you're gonna be famous and so on, they also are very, very convincing. So there's also something that they're gonna feel exactly what is your need, what is your desire. So if you're not a monogamous person, it's gonna find a way for you to make up the story how you can have a cake and eat it too. And so now, if you have that strong vision, I absolutely believe the man of the podcast. I absolutely believe him. And I also put my tarot card on it. And it seems like, yes, he really has the absolute genuine feelings there. He believes in what he's saying, and he's deeply in it. And his masculinity, his leadership power is so strong that it's very easily to pull other people in it. So I absolutely believe in his good intentions here, that he really had that vision. He really is connecting with it. The only thing is that I'm asking here, because I also had those voices, and a lot of times they were promising me wonderful things. I had to decline, even though I deeply desire them. That those entities are not really having your highest goodness in their heart. And in the world of so-called spirituality, there's so many tricks, so many traps for someone who is growing spiritually, and especially if you take some additional, I don't know exactly that because I'm not following his podcast, what exactly were the mushrooms or ayahuasca or the other sacred herbs that they were taking, but you have very vivid vision, and you can also connect with herbs, and you can connect with entities that are currently available in your space. But it depends on the level of where you are with yourself, who you are going to meet on the other side. And if you are truly, purely going into the highest vibration, those ascended masters are usually not coming so easily to us, even for the monks that are meditating 30, 40 years. It's not easy that the master will come. I also had that experience, and I only had it like for 3 days, or with the specific messages from the master, and they were exactly telling me, you're going to hear that only this time. You have to learn those 3 lessons. We are going to pass it to you, and try to remember. So it doesn't really, it doesn't depend so much on the work on the man, but it's like we give this 50% and the other part is 50% of grace from the other side. Now, with other entities, if you take some sort of herbs, mushrooms, whatever you take, it's very easy to go to the other side and meet whoever is on the street, whoever is in the astral and other planes of around you. So there is like big chaos there. I do not know exactly what kind of voice he was hearing. I would have to go energetically deeper into that, but I absolutely believe he heard a voice. It was very strong, and the entity who was talking was very powerful. That you can hear it in his voice. So that's one thing. I would just question the quality of entity that was offering him that particular vision. So with that, now you have another thing with those relationships. Now, I do not really connect with the word radical, radical forgiveness, radical monogamy. The word, you know very well that every word has a certain vibration. Whatever language you are using, you feel a certain way pronouncing a word. Word is a spell. So radical is something very rough, tough. It doesn't hold really empathy and understanding to the other side. It's like very directive. You gotta do this and do not question it. It sounds almost dogmatic. Radical monogamy, what does that mean really? So I would like us to think about it. And of course, I encourage you to write me, because there is nothing better than comments that I read, mostly from the Polish audience. And I can relate to them, I can explore them, and we can actually have this way a good discussion, conversation, and come to a better benefit for us both. So this radical monogamy, and the word radical, I don't buy it. Just my personal opinion here, if I may. Sorry, I just put a little bit of the notes here. So for me personally, if there is a true love, it doesn't go with compromises, it doesn't go with sacrifice, and some people say that yes, it does. For me personally, it's more like a business. So in business, yeah, you do negotiate, you compromise, you pick what is better for you. If not, in love, the love flows. And if you truly love someone, you are also able to let it go. If not, there is also something like expectations. So our expectations, and we all go for that. There is no one out there that would say that I do not have expectations, or I will try to go against my expectations and suffer. It has nothing to do with love. It has something with choosing what you currently have to do in order to survive emotionally, to not starve emotionally, if we are not talking about material business. And for me, it looks like if a woman doesn't agree with that, but still goes in a triangle relationship that does not really fit her, and I'm talking now here about body language of his wife, Vylana. So for me, it looks like, and I went for that. So again, with deep respect, I was doing it for years. And for us women, it's very easily to look through the eyes of a man, to understand him more than we understand ourselves. So there is another trap here. You gotta know exactly what are your needs, where you're not going to go on compromise, because you know it's bad for you, even if you do love someone very, very deeply. And that's the only person you connect in this lifetime so much, so deeply. So basically you have a choice, choosing the man or choosing yourself. And that's really, really bad feeling. Some of you know that. So it looks like a woman, any woman, let's say, would just every night cut her veins and try to stay in it and see how it's bleeding and try to stay conscious in the bleeding. It hurts. She would say, yeah, it hurts, but I'm so spiritual, I can handle it. But my question is, what for? Why you are keep on bleeding? Why we all are keep on bleeding as women, some of men too, because they also tend to stay in a sort of relationship that are not fulfilling their needs. So here, I deeply connect with Vylana. And most of you women, if you're listening to that, I think you do. I think the doesn't matter what kind of structure you have a different period of life, that you deeply love someone and it was extremely hard to not accommodate someone else's needs and feelings, and it was very easily to forget about your own and about yourself and just following the man. So now coming back to her, let me just find the notes. She repeats that she was dying plenty of times. It feels like a dying, and I also experienced something like that. Something within me died, and again, it died. Like, could it die again? Yes, it can. If it's not the right thing, your body will re-experience the trauma of your keep on dying. And your body is giving you a signal this way, of course, that something is not right. And everybody probably on comments noticed that already, that her body language, her body won't lie. If she's talking about how deeply and meaningful that experience is, and her body is crying, and her eyes are not portraying excitement, happiness, there is something wrong here. And here, my question is to actually doctor who is leading them, that he's like, for me personally, overly excited with how beautiful that is. Beautiful catastrophe. Could it be beautiful? Yeah, sure, there is a love in it, there is an enormous feelings, there is something very personal and vulnerable, but if the therapist is on the other side overly excited and the woman is crying, and then is sort of not following her incongruency with her body language. So I would stop right there. Maybe this topic is so huge that requires more than one therapist, maybe also a female therapist, maybe different therapists from the different backgrounds, because here the doctor is more on the side like spiritual coach, following a lot from his language, that esoteric spiritual language that I'm not really relating to that much. This excitement, this overly excited, and you know, the main issue with people who are growing, I sometimes call it rolling like a toilet paper spiritually. It's a paranormal toilet paper, sorry for that joke, but the problem is that if they are suppressing their emotion of anger, sadness, any kind of so-called negative feelings because they are not allowed to feel it, we do not have access to their real story, who they really are. So the more they are suppressing, we are complete beings with all of the scale of feelings, also anger. If we do not feel anger, sadness, there's something deeply wrong with us, because we are not capable. Something is shutting down. It's like we want to cut off part of our souls, and some people do that with psychotropic, with alcohol, with addiction. Temporarily we can cut off those so-called negative emotion and be on the positive side of life. So unfortunately it's not like that. It's both. We need to use the anger to do the right thing, and not to feel anger and wait for the I don't know what, but to feel the anger, to do the right thing, that the anger giving you in this particular moment, that requires your action. So if you see the evil, it's not about feeling anger and pretending that you're not angry, you are accepting what you see. It's about not allowing evil to do evil things, for example. So if there is no reaction, we are teaching someone who does wrong things that it's absolutely fine to behave wrongly to us. And most of the women have problems with those sort of boundaries, to say no, to follow themselves, to react on that behavior. And that I noticed also in different countries, like in a subway, when just giving you a short example, when a man just demands the woman stands up because he wants to sit, and none of the women reacted until I saw the men reacted, and then I added to it just simply by saying, "You're not a man." That is, of course, that escalated the conflict, but that's not the point. The point is that if the man is thought that it's okay to do that, to go around and push women around, if none of us will react, will have a proper reaction. It's not about being, rude. It's about reacting properly to what we are facing in life. So coming back to the emotions, if we do not have all the range of emotions and we don't use it, so there are certain things when we're supposed to feel sad. If the body is crying, that's absolutely not something to ignore. So if you're so happy, why are you crying? If you're thinking that this experience is absolutely so great, why are you crying? Because I do understand that if you want to save your relationship, if you want to be in the relationship with someone that you absolutely value, you're gonna go extra mile. You're gonna do anything what's in your power. And now let's talk about Vikings way. What choice do you have? I'm relating to the TV show Vikings here, and one of my favorite characters, Lagerta. So she chose the second part, second way of what you can do. The first way is to mark your territory and absolutely stay in relationship and mark your territory. This is what the kings were doing, queens, and there was a lot of fight and quarrels. But the second way is to leave. And a woman that is deeply traumatized by abandonment, by not feeling secure in life, not feeling safe, and suddenly you have it with someone. It's sacred. It's absolutely meaning everything to you. You finally found it. You don't let go easily. So this will prevent you to leave. Absolutely. And again, I had this kind of experience. I'm not talking from a judgmental point of view here. I am talking from the understanding how this dynamic works. If any one of you would judge the person for not leaving, you probably did not have the experience yet how strong it is, especially if it's a paranormal connection. So that some people call it soulmate, twin flame, but it could be just as simple as psychological thing. You did not have it. It's in your childhood with your parents, within your dynamic. So if you finally have it, you don't let go so easily. Absolutely, you don't let go at all. What are we talking about? The problem with leaving is the woman has to be absolutely integrated, and there are certain levels to make me clearly say that it doesn't mean that the woman is not integrated if she cannot leave. It means there are certain levels of integration. That means she has tools to handle a brutal world that after leaving, people will try to take advantage of her. So if she's a public person, if she's a goddess for someone, if she's in the public eye, she has important position in the society, there will be always those, usually men, who will try to take advantage of that and using her on her coast to fulfill their own desires and charm her into it. I'm talking again about Vikings show more here and about Lagerta path, because she chose to leave Ragnar. She chose to leave to not be in a triangle with other women that came to them. To not tell you the story here, but focus on the dynamic in the relationship, this path is extremely hard for a woman because she stays completely on her own. And if you have this kind of right relationship that you feel you are absolutely protected, and this masculine power, even if you if it's not completely there for you, you feel it around you, so it's actually protective. And you can thrive even more if you have the right kind of masculine and feminine power together. You can create more together. This is not something you easily let go of. And this is the main issue why we don't leave relationship that is not fulfilling our desires, and we try to fit in against our needs, against our structure. Now, they all say they are devoted to serve, but my question is devoted to serve whom? Because Vylana serves, obviously, and Alana also. I didn't talk about her yet. She was mostly quiet during this interview. She was like the third party, like someone who is not really belonging, but belonging, someone that is on the side. Someone that could feel not important enough. And I will get to that dynamic very soon, because also I want to ask you this question: how often did you were stepping into some relationship and there were exes involved, that they had this strong position, your partner had a good relationship with those exes, and you felt kind of, left out because they had this strong connection and you were new. So this is also unfortunate position, but in a second about that. I'm talking about a devotion now. They serving and whom? Because obviously those women are serving a man here in this story. I don't see the man is serving much to the women, but where he's serving to some sort of entity, whether it's a god or entity or some voice within or some profound visions. I don't know, and I'm not gonna go into that, but he's obviously into service to something. He's following some voice within himself, whoever that voice is. Now, my question is here, from the bigger picture, paranormal picture, usually if people are serving entity, gods, there is this, and I have to say it, as much as weird it's going to sound for some of you, I'm sorry for that, but I have to say it. There is this concept of lush, of gathering food, of some beings are feeding on strong emotions of men. So the more drama is, the more those entities are having excitement. It's sort of like a psychopathic path. Like you see a psychopath, and when the psychopath is seeing that something is happening, dramatic or a murder or something, he gets excited. Other people can get scared, but he gets excited. So in this sense, there are entities also on the other side that are feeding on tears, on sadness, on the anger, and they're trying to provoke those situations so they can feed. So in this case scenario, the biggest goddess here that is feeding with those emotions looks like is Vylana. And I'm sorry to say that, because the most evolved with compassion, with clarity, in a sense of the light, spiritual light, these entities are mostly delicious for those entities on the other side. And how they cannot access them directly. So what they're doing, they are trying to access them through the loved ones. So because highly evolved people, beings, and she looks like she's in a really high vibration, but also art and music she's doing. So it's not really easy to access her, to lower her state of vibration. But because she loves someone very deeply, that's the way that those entities can access. And how many of you experience now in a very drastic form? I will give you an example of drastic form of how this is happening. You meet a person, it's wonderful, you're getting connected, like so deeply connected, but you don't know much about sort of relation with other people, and also ancestors tree, what kind of energies are behind those people. And after a few months, when the connection is beautiful, established, and you have like the biggest love of your life, you start to argue very often, and your partner seems to not be exactly your partner. You see something different in his or her eyes. Like, oh my God, who is this person? Like, I would like to go back to that partner from a few months ago. Clinical psychology calls it narcissism, psychopath, sociopathic personality, any kind of disorder, could be bipolar. So you have names. But from the spiritual, paranormal perspective, usually what we find on the other side is some sort of entity stuck to that person and feeding through. Here another drastic example that please pay attention to. I had a client and she claimed she was possessed by a demon who promised her enormous things. Of course, clinical psychology just took her to the psychiatric hospital, and you know how that developed, but she came out. Anytime she was calling me, I heard the voice, this entity, because those entities cannot really feed from one person. They need another host, and they are looking for that host. So anytime she was calling me, believe it or not, my candles were really jumping, like seriously jumping in the room. And I was hearing the voice like, hey, you had this dream, you know, Joanna, you had this dream, you know, I can fulfill that for you, right? Very simple voice. Anytime you have those kind of inner voices, they are sounding very natural, like your best friend is talking to you. So without questioning the entity who is talking to you, really, you cannot differentiate, because it sounds very genuine, it sounds very powerful, promising, exciting at the beginning. So just want you to know about that. I'm always also, those of you who know me a little bit, I'm also talking from the psychological perspective and also from the paranormal perspective that is deep with all my experiences in my life, that I'm now freely talking about it. Before I try to push away that aspect, because who would believe me? Now I do not care if someone believes me or not, because we have so many evidence and experiences of the people who are exactly knowing what I'm talking about because they went through it. So we go just directly, I'm focusing more on solving the issue, decoding the energy, seeing what's happening, because we do not have time to prove. So if you don't relate to that line of me talking about paranormal, just forget about it. This is not your experience, and that's okay. That is probably even better. Now, coming back to one more thing I wanted to mention about vibration of the names, Vylana, Alana. Wow, there's such a similarity how they sound in the sound. And the man is absolutely connecting. I'm sorry, I'm not using names so much because I would like to focus on the dynamic and what's happening in the energy and why this is so hard to go through the experience. So the vibration of those names are similar, very melodic, very attractive. And if I would be here a man, I would absolutely probably, choosing, I would not know what to do. So I can relate to that. There is a similarity in energy. And if you go for your life and you meet different partners, there is some pattern, similarity in the pattern of the partners you're drawing to yourself. It just happened that he met in his lifetime two wonderful women at the same time. So yes, that is absolutely confusing. Okay, I agree with that. It can happen. How many of you you cannot judge it. So most of you who had that experience, you won't judge that. So you have a partner potential, but then you meet someone that you would like to explore a little bit more, and there is this danger, of course. And if you don't explore, you're gonna regret it till the end of your life. You're gonna subconsciously blame your partner that is blocking you from another experience, and so on, so on. So sure, the most important is to talk about it, to have the right kind of people and transparency, so you can talk about it. But also there is this test and challenge. What do you want to do? Because unfortunately in life you cannot have a cake and eat it too. How many of us tried? How did that end for us? Not good. I also wasn't such a dynamic, and most of that it is described in my first series, the Oracle. If you would like to get to that, of course, under the video there are links, and you know how to find me. There is everything description, but I'm focusing now on this dynamic. So let's see how that can assist, especially women, because women are waking up now to do what they really want to do in their life and not following needs of someone else before knowing own needs. Coming back to Vylana, sorry, for a second, I don't think she has a choice, because with her dynamic, with the transparency of her challenge from the childhood, I don't think she has a choice, only to go through the experience and make the best from that and benefit energetically for whatever comes to her. And I would never recommend a woman with such a sort of experience, when she finally found her stability with someone, some love, like enormous love, to stay away, because usually how it ends in a not only frustration, but these women are going back and forth. They can find a peace. They rarely can find alternative, but by staying in the relationship with that particular love, they can gain knowledge. They can benefit energetically by understanding. It's extremely hard. I'm not saying it's not. It's extremely hard. And then they get ready. Sometimes it takes years. They get ready to leave. And this leaving is supposed to happen naturally. Until she's not ready to leave, she won't leave. And I would never blame a woman for that. And I also went through that. So I'm deeply connecting here. Alana. I didn't talk about her, and she was most of the times very quiet. We have this saying in the Polish language that I have no idea how it sounds in English, but you know, the silent water creates a storm later on. She's a little bit on the side of the story. She seems, to me, that's the impression I'm having, like she does not have alternative, like an idea what to do with her life. She's very young, and she doesn't have an idea what to do. And here there is an opportunity to explore. Wouldn't you take it? Of course you would. We don't know her personal backgrounds much. We don't know where she's coming from, what kind of family she had. But obviously if someone falls for that, you could trace a desire to have a stable family, to have a family that is fulfilling. And this is huge. This is really big. So it is not necessarily about sexual connection, sexual encounter, but someone who will really see her, because she mentioned that a lot, that she's feeling seen. And there's a lot of comments that about it, ironic comments under this video. You can read it too. That unfortunately is not maybe the best description how she's seen by the man, because if you are seen as a goddess, you will fall from the pedestal very soon. If a man sees you as a goddess, he's not really seeing you. He's seeing most of the times his imagination, idea about you, but he does not really know you. So there could be a big projection, illusion they both feeding into a man and a woman here, that she wants to feel a goddess. And why we want to feel like a goddess? If we do not feel already like a goddess, but we want to feel like a goddess, and we fall for someone who sees us that way, that means, yeah, we don't know our value yet. We don't know much about ourselves yet. And there is something with confidence and self-worth. Self-worth is not exactly what the confidence is, but there is some big issue with our self-worth. So basically, if I go somewhere and I feel like a goddess, I don't need a confirmation from someone to tell me that, that's okay. But if I'm going and I'm falling for someone who sees me certain way, complimenting me, then probably there is a big, enormous lack that I did not integrate within me. And I would question that, how he really sees her and what she really needs, how she needs to see herself in order to find out who she really is and what she really wants in this dynamic. Does she wants a family? Does she wants a romance really? Does she wants mother and father? Because let's not forget, Vylana is very feminine, very open, very loving, very giving. I'm not sure if she's giving more than she's supposed to, and now not only to a man but a woman. So it's almost having a feeling like there is a daughter involved, which of course doesn't give the best vibes, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I think I talk about it a lot, touching on a different dynamic. Of course, the thing is much, much deeper. I would question so many things here. I absolutely believe in the power of their connection. I don't think it's something negative or positive. It's just an experience and something that is absolutely breaking the pattern of the wrong type of monogamy. So this is good. Everything has this polarity from one side to another. Would you like to be in would you like to be in this kind of constellation? I wouldn't like. I wish it would never happen to me again. I can relate to that because of my own experiences, and more about it you can read, of course, in my books, and also upcoming book, Akasha, with the subtitle Plagued by Love. No, not plagued, plagued by love. Probably that's how it sounds, pronunciation in English. I hope I said it right. I'm going to still adjust with the English pronunciation. It's about understanding more about ourselves because we want to experience different things. And years ago, I also was in the position that I did not want to quite have traditional relationship because I saw exactly that this monogamy doesn't work. I don't want to be lied to. So I said, okay, let's do something not conventional. And this not conventional, it caused me a lot of pain. And the writing about it, therapy and everything, paranormal dreams, of course, helped me to navigate. And this is what every woman, every one of us has to do in order to find out own path, because there is no single way or recipe like go through it, leave it. All those advices are pretty plain and flat, and most of the people cannot really follow them. But if you go deeper and try to analyze, you gaining the power that lies behind the experience that is happening to you. As long as you can manage that without going crazy, it's good. But at the end, if you truly integrate that within yourself, those dynamics usually are dissolving itself. And I'm wishing here the best for all three of them, because this is I didn't want to say that, but this is really, really difficult. I was in this kind of experiences, and I tried really my best to understand. And sometimes looking through the eyes of a man is not really a healthy thing to do, because we forget as women about our own eyes and about our own needs and desires. And if we choose between my desire and my man desire, usually, I don't know how is it for you, so please tell me, write me about it. But anytime I go on compromise, whether it's emotional, any other compromise, I really suffer. I'm not talking about benefit, like I'm not benefiting. That's like really the least of the problems, like I'm not benefiting, but I'm paying big price for that. So what is your price? What is your price? How far you want to go in your experience? How much do you want to risk? If it's absolutely profound experience, if you met the love of your life, sure, you don't want to let it go. I sometimes compare it to the food. So if you like sushi, for example, and you ate sushi, and after that sushi, that one dinner, and someone is, you're seeing that sushi, and only sushi can really feed you, and normally you have just only rice, I don't know, you cannot be fed. You always will dream about that sushi, right? So yeah, I do understand. How does it feel? And also the specific connection humans are creating is something that you cannot have it with someone else. Every one of us has this specific DNA. And this structure you meet only with one person. Nobody will be a substitute for that particular person. So basically, if you have a loved one, your grandfather, grandmother, deeply connected, deeply loved, and then they die, nobody ever in your life will be a substitute for that. That's obvious. So you gotta deal with the grief. So until you are not ready to deal with the grief of something that died, the love died, or the partner transferred into someone else. How many relationships now you have with transgender when your spouse changing completely and now becomes a man and is interested in a woman. So the divorces, of course, happen. And you cannot stop that. So there's this aspect of grieving on the every side. But because this person doesn't die, you can still have a quality communication with some of those people, and you can bring it to another level. So it's the matter of what do you want to experience, what is your price, what are you accepting, and where are you not compromising too much of your soul, who you really are. So you can go on and you can be truly happy in your life, not having moments when you're going back and forth between raising your vibration and then the experience is bringing you down and suffering so much you cannot go on. And then you're blamed for it. Like, I heard that in the words of Vylana, actually. She said that they experienced her madness. I do not think she's mad. If a woman is experiencing chaos and madness, something brought her to that point. And I would really question here a lot more. Okay, I think I said it all for today. I'm looking forward to hear from you, to tell me what do you think about it. What was your experience? If you are willing to share, what is your opinion about those dynamics? What do you think about relationships? Should they be monogamic, polyamorous, radical monogamy? How do you understand that? For me, it's absolutely something that is absolutely not functioning. And I also could ask this question: what if they would bring another man to dynamic and make it sacred? What if they would bring another two men, for Alana, for Vylana, to this dynamic? How now we could talk about how men would actually serve and sacrifice whatever he needs to sacrifice in order to make his women happy. Okay, this is it. I didn't say I'm Joanna Pilatowicz. I should say it at the very beginning, but you know where to find me. There are links under this video. If you like a session, individual session from tarot with not predicting the future, although it's very easily to see the patterns, how the future will go. I'm more interested in changing the pattern. I think this is what the clients are mostly interested, to make something better, not to see how it will go if you don't do anything with your destiny. So if you're interested in the books, they are on Amazon, of course. Just by Googling my name, you find it. And of course, I have a website, everything under the video. Thank you so much. And yeah, let me know what are your thoughts about the matter of relationships.